Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome into O'Neill's Grill for our weekly Fan and Press Luncheon with JMU head football coach Everett Withers. The Dukes this past weekend won their fifth in a row to start the season, the first time in the program history the Dukes have accomplished that feat. It was a 38-20 win on a soggy Saturday at Bridgeforth Stadium over the Seawolves of Stony Brook. And we welcome in the Dukes head coach Everett Withers. And first of all, Coach Withers likes to start off a little personnel report on injuries and who comes back from injury. Also, the team player awards for the week. Coach?
Yeah, Kurt, as we start off injury-wise, we were able to get Ishmael Hyman back this week in the game. Obviously, he had a good game for us, catching a touchdown pass. Hopefully, he'll be back closer to 100% this week. He was probably about 85% in the ball game, so hopefully we can get him back. We're still evaluating Casey Kroll to see where he is. Hopefully we can get him back. If not this week, I would suspect next week for sure that we can get him back. We would like to get him back in the rotation. He's a very valuable part of our our offensive line. Two injuries in the ball game, both concussion injuries. Rashad Davis and Cornell Urquhart right now, just not sure. They're being evaluated as we speak, to be honest with you. So their status is still up in the air. Probably won't know much till Wednesday on both of those guys as far as availability for the game this week. So those are really the only two injuries of substance. The others were, your normal bumps and bruises that you play against a tough physical football team. Players of the game offensively, Khalid Abdul, 17 carries, 114 yards, 2 touchdowns, had a long of 69, 6.7 yards a carry. What's probably more impressive with both backs, Khalid was 95% of his yards came after contact, which is impressive, and he had 3 explosive runs for us. So Khalid has had a very good season for us and continues to play well for us. Defensively, we know that Gage Steele got the CAA Player of the Week. We gave the defensive award to Taylor Reynolds. He played 82 plays, had 9 tackles, had 5 of those were solos, 4 pass breakups and an interception. Played well for us in the back end. And our special teams player of the week was Gunnar Kane, our punter. Averaged 40.3 yards a punt, really only punted 3 times, long of 48, but he had 2 inside the 20, which was really critical for us since it was the type of day it was and the weather and playing the field position.
Coach, going into that game, your keys were ball security, establishing the run, and tempo. How do you think that you graded out in those 3 areas?
Well, ball security, I thought we did good. I would say B. We did have 2 balls on the ground that we recovered. So that's something that we don't like to have. No turnovers for the day, but we did have 2 on the ground. I thought the tempo was good. In the first half, I thought the tempo was much better. I don't think we played very well in the second half, offensively or defensively. But I thought in the first half we were, got off to a good start and our tempo was good. And being able to run the football, I thought we did well. Obviously, we ran for close to 300 yards again in rushing, but I thought our backs did a nice job. We knew it was going to be tough sledding. There was going to be some 0-yard gains, but it doesn't matter the yards. It matters that you keep trying to run the football, and we were able to run the football, and I think that was a positive for us.
You've talked about turning the page in a ball game depending on what defensive schemes are allowing you to run or presenting you with opportunities. When you have the weather the way that it was on Saturday, are there pages that you are not necessarily going to in your playbook?
Well, yeah, we had a very limited game plan going into this ball game, very, very limited, and one because of the weather. We felt like we didn't need we had to go establish the run. This was one of those games, it was more of a mindset than anything else. We wanted to go try to stop the run and go run the football against these guys. We know they were big and physical up front. Hats off to our offensive line. I thought they did an excellent job. Obviously, hats off to our backs. I thought our guys did a good job defensively. I felt like in the first half we did a great job of stopping the run, did some really nice things. So as far as trying to open up the playbook and go empty and throw the ball around, that wasn't the mindset. The mindset was, how do we, control the line of scrimmage and run the football. And I thought we did a good job, I would say, for 2 quarters and a half. After that, I thought we didn't play very well after that.
There was a lot of things that could have distracted your football team last week. Coming off the success of the SMU game, obviously, and then with the weather. And the weather was a constant variable. It was like trying to herd cats last week as far as finding out what the weather was going to do. How do you feel like your team and your coaches handled all those distractions that could have presented a problem last week?
Well, I thought we did a good job. I thought our kids locked in and focused. We really only had one day last week where we were able to go outside and practice, which is, obviously a hindrance when you're trying to prepare. Hint, hint, need an indoor facility. I think, I thought our kids did a good job of really trying to prepare themselves. We knew it was going to be a physical ball game. We knew this team was going to be athletic, big, and physical. And I do, coming out of the game, I think they're a bigger, more physical team than SMU. I do, and I may be wrong, but I think that as a coach. So I thought our kids did a good job with all the distractions during the week, all the ESPN, all the other stuff, people patting you on the back, all that other stuff.
Coach, there are also the category of hitting yardage in a football game, and typically that's talking about kick returns. 6 kick returns that your team was defending last week. 3 times they were above 25 yards on the return. Can you explain to us a little bit about philosophically what you want to do on kickoff and kickoff coverage? And you're using a lot of true freshmen on that specialty team area.
Well, I'll start off. There were 9 guys that were true freshmen on that team Saturday. I looked out there 2 weeks ago. They were all 11. They were true freshmen. What we try to do, and it all starts with the kick. We haven't gotten the kick where we wanted it in the last 2 weeks. The kick has not been where we want it, so that's a problem. And when it's not where we want it, it really affects on everybody on the coverage team. So first of all, we got to get that fixed. We got to get the ball kicked where we want it. Secondly, we got to understand job descriptions when we do run down on the kickoff team. We got some young guys that understand about it's almost like they're taking a calculus quiz. They understand how to do the problem, but they don't know how to finish it. So we went back yesterday, had a long period in special teams. We missed 11 tackles on kickoff coverage. Missed 11 tackles. So that's part of the problem, missing tackles. But it all starts with a kick is being kicked. It all starts with angles and who fits the coverage. And, again, I'll go back. It all starts with a kick. If you don't get the kick where you want it, it's hard to fit the coverage. And then when it's hard to fit the coverage, it's hard to leverage the football and make the tackles you need to make. So we were number 1 in the country last year in kickoff coverage. Just so anybody wants to ask the question, we were number 1 in America in kickoff coverage, and we're not even close to that. It's not that we don't have guys that can run down and do it. We just got to kick it where we want it kicked, and we got to make sure that we all understand our job description. You
speak of discipline and details in plays like that too, but how does when a kick returner muff the football?
Yep.
How does that kind of throw maybe your whole timing off in the situation, particularly if it's right down the middle of the field, as it happened a number of times?
Well, I think you just hit the optimum couple words, right down the middle of the field. Again, the ball's not kicked where it needed kicked. If we kick the ball where it should be kicked, then the coverage gets to converge and run the lanes that they know the responsibilities of. So, again, like I said, I think they did a good job. I think their kick return did a great job of making a play where there wasn't a play. You have to give him credit for that, but you also have to go back and look at yourselves. And I spent a lot of time yesterday morning looking at our kickoff coverage, and we spent a lot of time at practice yesterday afternoon working on trying to fix some of those things.
All right, the only other thing that I had there, Coach, is in the first quarter in particular, really the only thing that stopped the Dukes were the penalties.
Yep.
And, again, that kind of goes to details, and probably preparation last week had something to do with that.
The word of the week is detailed, okay, is detailed. And if you go back, we had 7 penalties on offense for 144 yards, and one of those negated a touchdown. So you take a touchdown off the board because of penalties. You rough a kicker and you give them the ball back and they score, so that's another 7 points. You miss 2 field goals, that's another 6 points. So there's a lot of points involved with penalties and mistakes and miscues. We've got to continue to get better at that, and a lot of it's details. Our best offensive lineman has 2 holding penalties. Well, why does he have 2 holding penalties? Because he doesn't finish and he doesn't move his feet, and the details of cleaning up a block aren't there, and he reaches out and grabs. So again, the word is detailed. We want our whole objective from yesterday to the end of this week when we kick it off at Towson is going to be a more detailed football team.
All right, thank you for sharing those details, Coach. And let's go to other members of the media here at O'Neill's Grill with questions for Head Coach Everett Withers. Gentlemen.
Coach, you mentioned that you were a nervous wreck all throughout last week. What does it say about your team when they can perform like the way they did on Saturday when you have the whole routine kind of throughout the window?
Well, like I said earlier, I think we played well for the first half. I thought offensively, defensively, we played well for the first half. I'm not sure we played well at any point in kicking game. But offensive defense, I felt like our kids were focused. I thought we went into halftime. I felt like we had a good halftime. I don't feel like we came out and finished the ball game. So did some of that affect our second half performance? Probably. I don't know that, but I thought our kids handled going into the week and going into the game the way we needed it handled, but we did not finish the way we need to finish.
With your running backs, Khalid and Carden, how do you describe their relationship on and off the field in practice, and how does that you have that kind of duo, how does that lead to that kind of success?
Well, I think Coach Kerr has done an unbelievable job with that entire running back room. We talk about strength of the unit, and when you have strength of the unit, everybody buys into their role in the unit. And each one of those guys knows that, it's not a 1 or a 2 or a 3 in that unit. It's all about everybody has a role in doing the things that they do. Taylor Woods right now is on 3 special teams, okay? And that's his role right now. So he has to, buy in and be a part of that special teams. Khalid and Carden both understand that they're going to get the carries that they get. When one gets tired, the other one's ready to go in the game. So I just think that the whole entire room has a great relationship. They practice hard. They hang together off the field, and that's what you try to build. You try to build 9 units strong, and that's what we're trying to build as a football program.
As you prepare for Towson, what kind of challenge do the Tigers present this week? Well, again, another physical team, another big team, a very talented running back in Victor, and he's a bowling ball type running back. He's going to be one of those guys that's going to be hard to bring down. We've got to do a great job of directing the ball where we want it to go. They're going to try to run the power. They're going to try to do some things that we saw this past week. So we're going to have to be good at that. I think the quarterback's better. I think they've got good skill guys. They're always pretty good on defense. So and they've had a week off. So again, playing a team with a week off, you always have to be detailed in what you do. And again, it goes back to what we do more than anything else.
Coach, let's talk about your receivers a little bit. You've got a lot of guys catching the ball. A lot of guys have good distance, but their yards after the catch. Kind of address how they move once they catch the ball, and as part of that, how they block for one another.
Well, yeah, I think some of it, again, some of the what we call the relief game is in there, and those are like runs to us. Those aren't necessarily balls caught. Those, Saturday the weather dictated that we throw a lot more short passes. And to be honest with you, when you play and you throw in a game like you saw Saturday, guys have to be able to break tackles and make plays after they catch the ball. I think our guys do a really good job of that. I thought Vad did a great job of putting the ball where he needed to on Saturday, so our guys could catch and run. And again, I thought our guys, for the most part, are doing a really good job of blocking for each other on the perimeter as far as after the catch and those type things.
Florida had a situation this past week where 21 of their guys caught the flu. Mm-hmm. How do you handle your locker room and your staff keeping the sick guys from spreading their germs around so badly?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of sick right now myself. So we just try to talk about hygiene, talk about washing your hands and, being smart around each other. And, if a guy's sick, we try to get him to the training room and try to get him all the fluids and medicine we can get in him and keep him away from our team and, that type deal. So, it's hard. It really is. When you got 100 guys, it's hard to keep everybody, healthy. You just try to manage it and hopefully it doesn't spread throughout your team.
Can you talk a little bit about the run defense this season? It's like you guys did a real good job. Obviously, went a little over 100 yards last game.
Well, again, credit to our defensive staff for really focusing on responsibility of where you need to be in the run game, and I think our kids are buying into that, and I think they understand it better. There are a lot of the guys a little bit more older in the scheme, and I think they understand it a little bit better. And I think we're doing a good job up front. I think our front three is doing a really good job of allowing some guys to run. Gage Steele's doing a great job of playing. He had 18 tackles last week. So, he's able to run and go make some plays because he's clean to do that, because our front three is doing a good job of keeping people off of him.
Coach, your son plays for Spotswood, and Spotswood plays Turner Ashby tonight at Bridgeport Stadium, your office on Saturdays. How excited is he, and what advice do you may have for him on playing in such a big stadium?
Don't screw it up. I told him I didn't get to see him this morning before I left. He wasn't up yet, so I just told him, I said, hey, have fun. I said, our players are going to be watching you to see if you go from point A to point B. With fanatical effort and focus, they're going to be watching you. So hopefully he plays hard and has fun,
Coach, looking at Towson, they're 7 of 19 on fourth down conversions through just 4 games, which is quite a bit going forward on fourth. Are they finding themselves in a lot of short yardage situations? Have you seen that on film?
Yeah, I think they are. I think they, and again, they're a little bit of a little bit like us. If they feel like they've got some momentum, they'll go for it on fourth down and, trying to keep the ball and trying to get drives to be productive. I just went back and watched an early drive against East Carolina. I think they were on their own 32-yard line and on 4th and 2, and they went for it. They picked it up. So we got to be ready to play 4 downs anytime we play this group because, they're a little bit like a triple option team. They're going to go for it on 4th down. Most triple option teams don't punt on 3rd or 4th or 1. They go for it.
All right, thank you, Coach Withers. Again, the Dukes will be on the road facing Towson 3 o'clock. Now, we're not done yet today as we have another guest to come to the podium for us here this afternoon, and that's going to be our quarterback for the Dukes, and Vad Lee. We're going to welcome him to the podium. Welcome, Vad, first of all.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Vad, obviously, you gained a lot of attention last week. The Dukes did after the win over SMU, and you continue to set records. The Dukes continue to set a lot of offensive records. Can you give us a little bit of a history on how you approach all of the other things that come with being a successful football player and football team, particularly when you look at the distractions that could have been part of last week's ball game?
Just remaining humble. That's the biggest thing. With me and with this football team, we know that things are going to come as you continue to have success, especially being undefeated. We know that we're going to get everybody's best, and just being at James Madison period, you're going to get everybody's best. So just making sure that everybody stay focus on the task at hand. That's the leader's job of the team, to make sure that everybody stay focused, and Coach Withers and the coaching staff do a great job of making sure that we all stay focused and don't get too big-headed and don't get too outside of ourselves and who we are.
With that, it also seems that you enjoy, as well as the other players, enjoy playing with each other and seeing the various success. We had another question earlier about Cardin Johnson and Khalid Abdullah and how they play and they rotate in the backfield, both of them having tremendous success. It's almost as if you also pat your buddy on the back everybody's going to have a chance to be successful.
Yeah, with this team, it's pretty special because there are no egos, really. Everybody is pulling for each other. Everybody is working together. We work so hard that we want to see each other excel and have success. So it doesn't matter who coaches put in the game. We feel like that everybody has a job and has a job description and is going to do that job perfect. And especially with the running backs, Khalid and Carton, they're best friends for I don't know how long, but you could just tell that they've been around each other for a long time. And even just having two guys at the same position, just go do the things that they do, it's pretty complimentary, and it's cool to see.
How often do you find yourself, I saw that you certainly came in and gave donuts to your offensive lineman one time, but how many times do you find yourself thanking the defense? Because, the offense gets a lot of attention. Mm-hmm. Those numbers are monstrous. Yeah. But defensively, there's credit due there, too.
Oh, I thank defense all the time, especially in the beginning of the season, the first 4 games, having turnovers after turnover, and just knowing that if they do score off those turnovers, I always tell them that's our fault, that's my fault, and I'm going to come back. And so I thank the defense all the time just for having the offense back, and we have their back, and it doesn't matter if something goes wrong, if they score a touchdown or whatever, we feel confident in our offense that we're going to answer, and then we'll get back on track. And we know that our defense is going to answer. So we complement each other well, including special teams with the field position. And I think that we've just been working well together in all units, and it's been a focus all year.
Go back to the summertime. I know there were several times when I would visit Bridgeport Stadium, and there was one person in the middle of the field, and that oftentimes was you, just kind of running through drills and just alone by yourself. I'm not sure if you were going through mental reps or what you were doing there, but considering the time that you've spent in preparation for this season, still a lot of the season yet to go, has it been worth it thus far, all that individual time that you spent on it?
Oh, absolutely. Obviously, when you're winning and winning makes everything better, and preparing, you have to prepare to win the games. And Coach always said the most prepared team will win the game. He probably tell us that before every game, and I believe in that. That's something that I believed in since the last time that we stepped foot off the field last year, losing that game and knowing that the ball was in the offense hands and that we couldn't get it in. That's something that kind of stuck with me throughout the year, and something that just building off of and making sure that as a quarterback I want to put the offense in the right position to go score points in the right plays, and I'm just thankful for the coaching staff that we have to trust me to do that.
All right, thank you, Vad. We've got other members of the media here for questions with Vad Lee.
Vad, you mentioned on Saturday that you still had a lot to improve on after looking at the film and now moving forward to Towson. What I guess is at the top of the list of things to improve on going into this week?
For me or for the team?
Both.
Okay. For me, I would say just making sure that, for the whole offensive unit, just making sure that that we don't have any turnovers, that we protect and cherish the ball, and yeah, I think that's the biggest thing. And finishing drives, we have to finish a little bit better. Something that we didn't do last game. We definitely have to finish and make sure that we're playing 4 quarters, no matter what the score is, no matter whatever it is. We have to finish the game.
With I don't know if you saw John Robertson. Looks like he's kind of done for the year at Villanova. Is that disappointing that like a player like that is done in this league for you, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, you want him to play because he's a special player, and I got to meet him at Media Day in Baltimore, and he was a really cool guy, and my heart, my hats go off to him, and certainly been praying for him that he get better or whatever. But yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, he got the best of your matchup last year. I guess were you looking forward to facing him on November 21st, and is that the luster away from that one now?
I mean, we don't, like, my mind haven't even been on that. Just 1 week at a time, just focusing on that game. Sometimes, honestly, I don't even know who we play next because I'm just so focused on getting better myself and getting this team better that it really doesn't matter because we're so focused on us getting better and becoming a better team and being closer that we feel like if we take care of us, then we'll be fine.
I asked you at Media Day about the injury thing, and obviously you kind of brushed it off, but when you see it actually happen to a guy, is that kind of a reminder that these things can change pretty quickly for a football player?
Oh, yeah, every time you step out on the field, it's an opportunity football is a physical game, and anything can happen within those 4 quarters. And yeah, we've battled injuries all year, but it's just what happens in football. Certainly, you can't take this game for granted, and that's another thing that Coach tells us before we go out there. Can't take this game for granted, and you can't take your teammates for granted.
Pat, talk about your preparation outside of football. I saw you a few weeks ago right after practice and said, how was practice? And you said, yeah, I'm more concerned about I got to hook up with my lab partner. Talk about how you balance the pressure of being the quarterback of this football team and still competing in your classwork.
It's a challenge. It's a challenge because we go to a great university academically, and you have to be on top of your game. And also, it's a challenge because the coaches here at James Madison, going to push you to the highest limit possible, to watch film, to practice, to study the other team, to do things that'll get you in position to have success. So it's a challenge, but I feel like that we have the right support around us in the academic staff and with tutors and everything that we're able to do that. Our coaches have a meeting every Thursday, academic meeting every Thursday, and they go over everybody on the roster, their academics, and you certainly don't want to be that guy that get called out in that academic meeting and in front of the whole staff. And I've got called out before, and that's not a good deal.
Talk about how your faith plays a role into your life, because it's evident in being around you and seeing you either on social media or how you conduct yourself in person. Your faith is very important to you. Where does that come from, and address that, if you will? That's
the little boy that's been inside of me. The little boy from 4 years old, probably even younger, going to church, just preaching and coming home and preaching to my parents and just being blessed with having family that are spiritual and believe in their faith and were able to teach me the way. I credit my grandma a lot for that because every Sunday I used to meet her at church, and she used to have to snatch me up sometimes because I'm in there shouting and running around and doing all types of crazy stuff. But that's just being who I am. Even when I go back home to my church, my name is Preacher Man there, and they obviously remember me when I was younger doing all those things, and it's just something that drives me because I know that I have a bigger purpose in life more than just football, and I truly believe that God brought me to James Madison for a reason, and it was beyond football, and I'm just blessed to have this opportunity. Because everybody don't get this opportunity, and it's something that I want to give God the glory because I am in the spotlight, and I just don't want that to be missed.
Vad, talk about Towson. What do you kind of expect from them this week?
I expect a physical game. I think they're a good team, and they have had success in their program. And I know the game last year was like we scored a lot of points, but I feel like that's gonna drive them this week throughout practice because they're gonna remember that. And just the year before they went to the championship game, so we're not taking this game lightly, and you can't take no CAA game lightly because every opponent is tough.
You guys have 4 of the next 5 games on the road. Just talk about what it's like being on the road and how much of a challenge that kind of is.
Oh, we love it. We love, obviously we love being at home and playing in front of our crowd. But on the away games, we know it's just us, and it's no distractions, and it's just those guys that are traveling, just our coaches. And we love when our fans travel well to football games. So we know it's just us, and we kind of like it like that, where it's no distractions, and we're going to take care of business on the road.
How much time, if any, do you have that is not football related or class related that you have time to do what Bab wants to do, and then what do you do during that time?
Not much time. Not much time. I can tell you that. You know, this cutting into my film time right now. But I just got out of class and drove over here and yeah. So right after this, I'm going to watch film, and then I'm going to study with my partner for a quiz tomorrow. So it's not much time, but that's a sacrifice that you make to be a Division I athlete. And like I said, I'm blessed to be a part of this opportunity. So I'm not complaining at all. I'd rather have it like this, where I like structure, and I like what I do. I love what I do. So I can't complain about it.
Any other questions? Okay, Vad, thank you very much. We don't want to take any more of your film study time away from you.
Thank you.
So best of luck this week. The Dukes at Towson. Kickoff is at 3 o'clock at Johnny Unitas Stadium. You can watch the game on Comcast Sportsnet. You can hear the game on the JMU and Telos Wireless Sports Network. That coverage begins at 2 o'clock. Thank you for joining us this week here at O'Neill's Grill for our weekly Fan and Press Football Luncheon.